if they give you a graph like this, your first reaction might be, this just looks overly complicated, doesn't it? It kind of puts you off, right? Except when you just look for the x-coordinate of A, they're asking this, you realize it's just this equation intersecting with this equation. So that's, I hope you understand why we make the two equations equal to each other for the first step. Making them equal to each other, you realize tan and cos is not going to get anywhere. You can turn tan only into one other thing, and you know tan has to change because otherwise you're not going to solve anything. That's where you get sine x equals to cos squared, yeah? Sine x equals to 1 minus sine squared like this. Any questions? And you know why this turns into quadratic, and when it turns into a quadratic, isn't it going to be solved using this or this? You know how exactly the thing you let the quadratic equal to, if you let alpha is equal to sine x, you know it's quadratic, but you're not really looking for alpha, are you? You're looking for sine x. So you'd have to write sine x is equal to these two. The reason why we cross this one out is because this is bigger than negative, this is less than negative 1. You can't evaluate shift sign of anything less than negative 1, so you ignore that. You can also tell if you do shift sign of this number, it's going to be a math error, that's why we ignore it. And that's where we get sine x is equal to this, and that's going to be x is equal to 38.2. Which you have to remember turn into radians for 4 marks. Next part over here is finding the coordinates of b. Now, this might look very strange. Why do we do pi minus this one, x value, to get 2.47? How would you realize how to do that? Because point b over here looks kind of strange, isn't it? It's like, how on earth did we get b? You might be thinking, if you get 38.2 degrees over here, and you know it's for a sine function, you would do plus, you do 180 minus that, wouldn't you? So a couple ways you can think about this. Because you're doing this question over here, it's 38.2 for the x value, but you realize it came from what? It came from this equation, isn't it? A sine function, a sine x. And remember the equivalent values for sine x is going to be 180 minus. So you could have done that by using 180 minus to find the next other value, which is this one, for part 3. That's why they give you the graph. Or you could use the graph. What I mean is, you could just, using the graph, realize, well, distance from 0 horizontally to A is at the same distance from pi to B. So wouldn't you just do pi minus that same distance over there to get this value over here for B, which is what we did over here. Of course we do pi minus 0.666 because we want radians, not degrees. Yeah? So there's that question over here.